There's a place on Earth where if you have a real medical emergency, the nearest hospital that can actually handle it is over 2,000 miles away. No airport, no helicopter on standby, no ferry running on any kind of schedule. The only way in, a ship, and ships don't exactly show up whenever you feel like it. A couple hundred people live here, on a volcano, out in the middle of the South Atlantic. Farther from civilization than almost anywhere else on the planet. And back in 1961, every single one of them had to pack up and leave. England gave them houses, jobs, a permanent, comfortable way out for good. Almost all of them turned around and came right back. The most remote island on Earth. Before we get into it, if you're into stories like this, hit that subscribe button. Every week, I'm covering a new place, a new mystery, somewhere most people have never even heard of. And if you're enjoying this one, drop a like, leave a comment telling me where I should cover next, and share it with someone who'd find this as wild as you do. All right, let's get into it. Most people couldn't find this place on a map if you gave them 5 tries. Most have never even heard the name. Tristan da Cunha. It's about 1,500 miles from St. Helena, the closest other inhabited island, and that's already barely close. About 1,700 miles from South Africa. About 2,000 plus miles from South America, and roughly 1,700 miles from Antarctica. By most geographers' math, this is the most remote inhabited island on Earth, period. There's no airport here, never has been. The terrain just won't allow it. No regular passenger ferry, either. The only way to get to Tristan da Cunha is a supply ship out of Cape Town, South Africa. The ride takes about 6 or 7 days, if the weather plays nice. And these ships aren't running on some neat little timetable. There are only about 10 scheduled trips a year total. Miss yours, and you're looking at months before the next one rolls around. There are no hotels here, no airport, basically no tourism industry to speak of. You don't end up on Tristan da Cunha by accident. For the people who actually live here, that's not some quirky travel inconvenience. That's just Tuesday. Here's the thing about Tristan da Cunha. It's not really an island with volcano on it. It is the volcano. The whole landmass is one single volcanic cone, rising up from the seafloor, one of the biggest volcanic structures anywhere in the Atlantic. Above the water, the peak clocks in at 6,765 feet. But that's just the part you can actually see. Underwater, that mountain just keeps going and going. At the base, on literally the only flat patch of ground the island has to offer, sits the one and only settlement, Edinburgh of the 7 Seas. The locals just call it the settlement. One village, one road, around 220, 230 people, give or take. And you'll notice something fast if you hang around long enough. There are basically only 7 family last names on the whole island. Glass, Green, Hagen, Lavarello, Repetto, Rogers, Swain. On most islands, if you can't stand your neighbor, you just move. Out here, your neighbor is probably your cousin. No joke. Go back far enough on the family tree, and pretty much everybody on this island is related one way or another. This isn't really a small town. It's basically one giant extended family, hanging out on the side of a volcano in the middle of nowhere for generations straight. And here's the kicker. There's nowhere else to go even if you wanted to. One village, one road, no backup town down the street. If something ever threatened the settlement, a fire, a landslide, a bad eruption, there isn't a second neighborhood to fall back on. Everything and everyone is crammed into one tiny corner of this rock. Now here's the flip side. The same ocean that keeps this island so cut off from the rest of the world, it can just as easily lock its own people in. There's no harbor here. The coastline's way too rough for one to even exist. When a ship finally shows up, it can't just roll up to a dock and tie off. It anchors out in open water, sometimes for days, while smaller boats haul cargo into the surf crate by crate, person by person. Storms shut the whole thing down on a regular basis. Not for an afternoon. For days at a stretch. The ocean basically decides when the island's open for business and when it's closed. And here's where it gets real. If somebody on Tristan da Cunha has a heart attack, a bad fall, anything the small clinic here isn't equipped to handle, there's no hospital to rush them to. There's no chopper sitting on standby. The nearest serious medical care is back on the South African mainland, over 1,000 miles away. Basically, the only real move might be waiting on a ship. And depending on the weather, that wait can stretch into days. That's not some scary hypothetical for these folks. That's just one of the trade-offs that comes with staying. So how does a town this small actually keep itself running? Pretty much the whole economy runs on one thing. Tristan rock lobster. Caught right here, processed right here, then shipped out and sold around the world. This one seafood export is what funds most of daily life on this island. Wages, roads, whatever gets imported in. And let's be real, if that lobster industry ever stopped tomorrow, Tristan da Cunha wouldn't just be dealing with some unemployment problem. It'd be a full-blown crisis. There's a small school here. The clinic we already talked about. Staffed but limited. One shop, one cafe. That's basically the whole settlement. For decades, the only link to the outside world was painfully slow satellite internet, when it even worked at all. Then, in late 2024, Starlink showed up, and suddenly, video calls with relatives across the world, faster access to news, telehealth, online classes. Internet speeds this island has flat out never had before in its entire history. It's a huge upgrade, but it kicks off a question these folks are still sitting with. How do you let the modern world in without losing the exact isolation that made you who you are in the first place? And it's not just people calling this rock home. The cliffs and waters around Tristan da Cunha hold a massive chunk of the entire world's population of northern rockhopper penguins, found in numbers like this almost nowhere else on Earth. Then there's the wandering albatross, one of the biggest flying birds alive. This thing can cross entire oceans without ever touching down. It can go basically anywhere it wants on the planet. And every single breeding season, it comes back here to this exact rock in the middle of the South Atlantic. A bird that could fly anywhere on Earth and chooses to come home. Hold on to that. Because the people of this island are about to do the exact same thing. In 1961, the same volcano that gave this community its land, its water, its whole way of life, turned around and came after them. It erupted, with lava bearing down on the only village on the island. Every single person, the entire population, got evacuated by ship. For the first time in generations, the island sat completely empty. They got shipped off to England, a country most of them had never set foot in. The British government handed them housing, jobs, real support, and eventually an offer, stay for good. Build a new life somewhere with roads, hospitals, airports, all just a short drive away. Almost everybody said no. Within a few years, nearly the whole population packed up and went right back to the volcano, back to the isolation, back to a life with no airport, no harbor, no easy exit. They went back to the hard place because it gave them something the easy country couldn't. A real sense of who they were and exactly where they belonged. Kind of like that albatross. They would go anywhere on Earth and coming home anyway. There's no app for getting here, no flight number, no tracking link, just a ship, a week of open ocean, and however many days it takes the sea to let you ashore. A community that lost everything to its own volcano. got handed an easier life on a silver platter in a country with every comfort imaginable, and turned around and chose the hard one anyway. In a world that's racing toward faster, easier, more convenient, Tristan da Cunha is proof that some places just don't let go of their people that easily. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's the people who won't let go of the place. And maybe that's exactly why it's still standing. If you like this one, make sure you're subscribed. New mysteries, new remote places every single week. Like it, comment, share it. It genuinely helps.